Hi, welcome to your first lesson with After Effects at Educator.com. What is After Effects? Well, After Effects is a compositing program used for all sorts of digital media. It has endless possibilities. It's better if I just show you. Let's jump over here to QuickTime. I'll just let this play. These are, I would say, 99% of the elements you'll see before you were created in After Effects. Let's take a look. So you can animate pretty much anything in After Effects. You can create titles. You can composite. You can remove green screen, animation. It's pretty endless, I must say. Whether it's corporate videos, your own movies, I've done graphics packages, different TV shows, movie titles. It's pretty endless. Let me show you some of the green screening. Here's some stuff over the years. Make this a little bigger. So it's a fun program. So the main trick with After Effects is that you want to give yourself a reasonable learning curve. It's almost like getting to the cockpit of a 747 saying, wow, how did I fly this thing? So give yourself some time to learn the program. It's basically similar to Photoshop with wings. So let me open up the program. And usually when you first open the program, I'll give you a quick little tour here. You get this window here, and I usually leave the tooltips checked. It's always good to kind of see the latest tool tips and tricks and things. You can then launch the project. I have a pre-made project here called Six Gun Sally. Let's kind of go through the project real quick. So After Effects is made of different components. We have our project window here. Here's our stage, more or less. And similar to, like I said, to Photoshop, here are the layers. And each layer is similar to an editing program mixed with Photoshop, mixed with, basically that's After Effects. So each one of these layers represents an actor, so to speak. So you have your timeline here. So why don't we do this? Why don't we do a RAM preview of this piece here? So the green bar is indicating that it's actually rendering all the files so we can watch this as a movie. So as you can see, as it's rendering, all these pieces are different compositions that are built into one master build. So we have a little bit of everything. We have some effects, we have some titles, we're animating elements. It handles sound, there's atmosphere. So this is just about to finish. You can see it's kind of like you can structure your canvas and all your windows and palettes how you see fit. Depends on the kind of work you're doing. Let's turn this volume up so you can hear some gunshots. Six Gun Sally. Let's let that play one more time so you can get a feel. There you go. So let's stop that. So if you kind of scroll through here, again, here's our timeline. Here's our stage. Here's where we're going to be importing all of our files to our project window here. So if we go down here, the first thing that our time indicator hits is this composition here. Now some of these are what they call pre-compositions. So like if I were to move forward to the bullet hits here, play those. If I were to double click this layer here called bullet hits, I open that up, and this is in its own composition. I'll do a quick RAM preview. That's rendering. There's a little green line there. So as you can see, as it's rendering, there's several layers composited in here. So composite basically in After Effects means nesting. you're nesting a composition within a composition. There's no sound in this actual composition, but you could see how if I were to kind of break this down, turn all these layers off, similar to Photoshop, here's your eyeball things here, and we're going to turn on the back layer, which is wood, our wood wall, and we have our different bullet hits, and on each bullet hit is actually a third-party purchase, which is you can purchase different effects like pre-made smoke and fire, water, things like that, explosions. So you can see if you break these down. In fact, let's turn off all of our actual wall hits here, and if we turn on all the bullet hits, you can see where they're kind of all lined up here. So you're kind of working backwards sometimes. So let me turn these back on, and you can see if I were to turn all of these off except you can solo different layers, and if I were to play these wall hits, you can see that they're played separately. So you're really just building things. You get into the nooks and crannies of every part of production. As you can see here, let me open up this composition here, and if you do a RAM preview there, let's do a quick breakdown actually. And we have the wood wall behind there. We have a black solid we're using. We have fire, and we have the text that animates in. When you're animating text, we can get into keyframing at some point. Keyframes are assigned different values. So as you can see, if I open this up, we have position, scale, opacity. Let me zoom out a bit. These are basically keyframes. Move over here. Let me do a RAM preview. So as you can see, if I were to do frame by frame, the word suite animates in, and here's our landing point keyframes. If I want to increase the time, if I want it to animate in slower, the keyframes that I've created, I'm just basically going to move the keyframes back, and it slows it down a bit. Go back to the main build here. So you can see there's all kinds of possibilities in After Effects. It's really endless. Let me break this down for you. We have the logo at the end. The logo is basically the western town. Now each layer can have effects applied to it. In this case, if I remove all the effects, I have a town, a western town here. And what did I do to that? I added hue and saturation, brightness and contrast, and a little bit of a blur. Added a gun on top. Now the gun, the Colt 45, that has some effects to it as well. Here's the keyframes for that. Here's where you can kind of see it moving in. It kind of fades in as well. I have effects like brightness and contrast added to that. So it's a fun program. Here's some dust blowing, give it some atmosphere. If I take all these off here, we can see our dust. A little bit of dust there on the bottom. So whether you're a professional filmmaker or a beginner, or you just like making fun videos on YouTube, After Effects is the way to go. Thank you for watching on Educator.com. I look forward to seeing you in our next lesson.